This virus is gonna make me lose it all. I kid you not. This thing has put a halt around the globe where businesses are stopped. Manufacturing is halted or behind. People are getting laid off. Moreover, I just signed $1 million contract in New York to have a whole office built out. That's put on halt. There's no way to produce revenue. You can't go out. You can't produce anything. Everything has just stopped. And if you're like me, you're probably feeling this as well. It's a lot. You know, 2020, pretty much a quarter of the year has been gone where you can't produce anything. And that, like me, millions of businesses are feeling. I'm in a business plaza right now where about 2 to 3 businesses have just shut. It's not that they're closed, they're done. They're out of business. Most businesses are not set up in a way where they can last 2 to 3 months without revenue. And that's the problem, boys. Today, I want to talk about 7 financial tips that I wish I would have done better when I was younger that you can do today that not only is going to ease some of that stress that you're probably feeling right now if you got laid off or you're just feeling tight right now. I get it. Trust me. Everybody is feeling it, and some people are more lucky than others. So today, boys, here are 7 tips that you should do so hopefully you don't lose all your money. Let's hop into it. Number 1, frivolous spending. You gotta stop spending on stupid things to impress people that don't even like you or just to show off or get more likes on social media. You gotta understand that, well, yes, it will make you look cooler at first. Most of these assets that you're buying are what you call depreciating assets. Assets that when you buy today, after a while, they're worth less than what you originally paid for. And all you're getting from them is an ego boost, an ego stroke, which in events like these, they don't do much. They won't put food on the table or a shelter over your head. This is why you really need to judge your frivolous spending. And I'm not saying to not enjoy your money. I'm not the type of guy that's gonna tell you to save everything you got. I think that's a little bit of extreme because you should enjoy what you work hard for. However, do not spend outside your means. If you have to strain your budget to drive that Lambo or buy that watch or get that nice apartment, it's probably not for you. Number 2. You need to have an emergency fund. I could probably recall myself saying this an easy 4 or 5 times in previous videos. However, most of you probably thought this would have never happened. You thought there would probably never be an emergency that you would need this for. However, having 6 months, a 6-month fund where you could live without working for 6 months, if you were to have that now, you'd be chilling. This would be like a vacation for you right now because you'd be comfortable. You know you could pay your expenses and live comfortably. This is something that everybody needs to work towards, meaning that when everything starts back again and you start generating money, you should set apart a portion of that for that emergency fund. And you should build up that fund enough to support you for 6 months worth of expenses. That way, next time we're living some sort of movie-like historic event like we're doing right now, you're gonna be chilling, quarantined at home, stress-free, on a vacation because you don't have to worry about paying your bill because you had an emergency fund. And the same goes to businesses. You should never operate at a loss that's so significant that when crap hits the fan, you're gonna be like an airliner right now where they don't have any funds to last over 1 to 2 months because they've spent all their money. You wanna think more like Warren Buffett. The man has like 160 billion cash on hand for his business that he's fine. He could probably go a year without generating revenue and working, and his company would still thrive. So your business should be run almost the same as your personal life. Having an emergency fund, having cash on hand, it's important. Number 3, you need to start building your credit when you're young. As a young adult, do not ignore your credit score. With a bad credit score, it could affect your ability to rent an apartment, buy a house, and simply cost you more over time through loans because you're gonna be offered higher interest rates because your credit score is weak. Starting to build that young could save you thousands across your lifetime. So as a young guy, don't be like the rest of the kids that are probably not paying attention to this stuff and instead take action today. Number 4, you don't have money working for you. You gotta understand that if you don't change your mentality, you're never gonna stop working. The earlier you can start, the stronger your retirement accounts are gonna be at the end. Let me give you a very, very clear example with this new whiteboard that I got because I've been using it a lot. I like teaching you lessons. Given that you're not in class right now, I'm gonna give you a lesson about money. You see, Domino's and Netflix were the two best performing stocks of the last decade. If you would have invested just $1,000 in March 2010 in both of these, which would have been a total investment of $2,000, you would have had about $27,000 in Domino's and almost $39,000 in Netflix. Keep in mind, this is now that the market has crashed. At its peak, you would have had almost $40K in both accounts, yielding you almost $70,000 off of $2,000 investment. This is why Warren Buffett says if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work till the day you die. Number 5, you're not saving young. So, you know that emergency fund that I talked about? Yeah, that's a fund that you're not gonna use. That stays tucked away. Act like it doesn't even exist. However, a savings fund, this is something that you constantly build for retirement. So we all know we gotta retire sometime. This is your black swan event in the future where you know you're gonna stop working and no income's gonna be coming in. Well, you can start planning for that now. The younger you start and compounding hits, the more you'll have at the end. I've showed you clear examples where if you're an 18-year-old kid and you start today, let's say investing $400 into a fund every month, by the time you retire, you're gonna have about 1.6 million in the bank, even though you've only invested 200 grand. If the same guy started 10 years later when he's 28 and did the same thing, investing 400, he would have invested 150K to that fund, and his total growth or compounding effect would have only yielded about $600,000. So you can have almost double just by allowing time to work at your favor by starting young to save, so compounding hits and you have a stronger retirement account in the future. And finally, number 6, boys, I want you to pause monthly subscriptions. And I don't want you to cancel them completely, but at least for this time period, you should put them on hold so you stop leaking money in areas that you might completely forget. So for example, me personally, I was looking at subscriptions the other day. I had subscriptions for MyFitnessPal, Tinder, stuff that I haven't used in years. Like, I didn't even remember that was happening, that was still on recurring payments. Many people have the same thing, or maybe Hulu or Netflix. If you stopped using these platforms, why are you paying every month for them? So what you should do is either put them on pause or cancel, look at everything you have recurring and stop it so you stop bleeding money every single month. And that's basically it for this week's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Those are 6 financial steps that you can do today so you could stop losing money. If you guys liked this video and found it informative, don't forget to drop us a like down below. That's it for me today.